Yeah, I'll start out by giving the video one nice pause because I'm in agreement with Mr. LetGo about throat chakra being crazy. But outside of that, I'm just going to say men aren't given a safe space to talk, like for real. Like anytime that people are dealing with something, it's expected for us to just man up, right? And I understand that, right? And that's what I teach my son, and that's what I try to tell anybody who will help, because the world is unforgiving. When you're a man, they don't care, right? A man begging on the street versus a woman on the street, the woman's gonna get more. Sometimes you might help the dude out, but people are compassionate for females. People will listen to a female more. It is what it is. They'll treat them so much softer than they would ever a man. And to go to your point a little bit more, how about that with the parents? It definitely starts with the parents, right? Because they're the ones who are going to teach you how to deal with conflict, how to communicate with people, like you said. But unfortunately, we're running like close to 80% of us that don't have that, right? We don't have that luxury. So that's where the problem lies. So their communication is going to be broken. And then even that one person there, I've been in some scenarios where I've seen a lot of households, right? What I do for a living requires me to be in households a lot, right? Maybe 30,000. So I get to see plenty of things that most people don't get to see. And when I tell you that the communication sometimes is just broken and kids are neglected and kids are just left without any supervision at all and learn for themselves, right? They're not going to be able to express themselves, especially when they're rejected. If a parent is more concerned with their own life instead of nurturing their children, then they're going to be constantly rejected anytime they come with the problem. So they're going to be trained to shut down anytime they have a problem. That's just going to psychologically stop them. Like, oh, okay, well, they already know they're not going to get any good results from anytime they try to seek help. They're going to be rejected. So that's just that thought process. And it's very hard to shake that if this is what you were receiving in your impressionable years. So now you're bringing that into your adulthood, and your partner you might be with may not expect it. And a lot of times we're guilty of that as guys. Like when a dude tries to say something or whatever, I'm like, man, get out of here. You corny, or you soft, or stop, but we don't really understand. A lot of times we never really ask the why. How did this person get to this place? Do you ever really try to have that conversation with your people? What is it that's really bothering you? What's good? Try to get to the root of it. Try to find out how they grew up and why they are missing some of these traits that we have and that we take for granted. We don't even appreciate sometimes just the fact that we were able to pick up what it is that we picked up as children and the protection that we had and learning from our parents who were there, because a lot of people aren't equipped with that. And that's the foundation. If you don't have that, it's going to be difficult for you to learn and communicate. So sometimes we just have to have more patience with people, right? And a lot of men, this is what we're told. And, somebody mentioned red pill content earlier. That happens when you watch those man up punk, and they don't know how to receive that. No one ever really takes the time to consider how someone is going to receive what it is that you are spitting at them. Sometimes they just don't care. And that's part of the communication. So if your communication is broken with you trying to fix it and then them trying to express the problems that they have, how the hell are you going to be able to speak to each other? You can't, because everybody's communication is broken. So I'll leave it there for now.
It's gonna be on you, Sweeney. I think that's very important, though, Trev. That in communication, people understand it's a two-way street. That patience part, that's a maturity thing, though, right? So, if I'm trying to understand what you're saying, if I'm communicating, then I need to be communicating in a way in which you're going to be able to receive it, right? No different than when men are talking to women. I know on panels a lot, they say, well, don't worry about my tone, just listen to what I'm saying. However, then you'll say that a woman is emotional, right? Well, yes, they're emotional. So you need to understand that and speak to them from that position, because you want her to still speak to you in that same regard, to understand that you're a man and don't disrespect you. So it goes both ways. So I'm just saying, I like what you're saying. Go ahead, Sweeney.
I was kind of gonna say kind of the same things that Trev said, where and Mr. Lego kind of alluded to this. The world doesn't give a damn about how men think, what men think or say. So that's part of the reason why a lot of men don't communicate. It's because if most people don't give it, like there's areas that we do communicate. On the job, we got shit to say. You know what I mean? We're very big on cost benefit. So on the job, we're more likely to communicate because we know that, hey, look, I can get more pay, I can do this, I can say that. But when you talk about us and how we operate in relationships, the world genuinely doesn't care. You know what I mean? We see it in the laws that are created. We see it in how men are being treated in when it comes to family court. We see how they're being treated within their relationships. Oftentimes, it's anytime that a man has anything to say is, well, what did you do wrong? Or they dismiss what he has to say. We literally just saw a woman set ablaze her ex-boyfriend, his child, and the child of his and the mother of his child. She went in there, set the bed on fire. And what was the reaction to it? Oh, he must have deserved it. Oh, he must have or what, man, I feel sorry for that baby. Or what have you. It wasn't nothing about, man, what, you know what I mean? Poor man, poor this. Everybody had a concern for the child, but they didn't give a damn about the father or the man himself. To a degree in which they didn't even give a damn about the woman that was with him. So we genuinely do not give a shit about what men have to say. But I will say this, though. This is the thing that we have noticed, though, and this is where Mr. LetGo is wrong. When he wants to talk about the red pill community and the manosphere and say, oh, these just a bunch of men crying. Well, those are the men that's getting the laws changed. It is them that is the reason why we're starting to see laws change in Tennessee. And we're starting to see, I think that I forgot what other states that they're changing these laws in Florida. It is because of them that you're starting to see a lot of things change, because men have been more vocal about the things that we experience in relationships. Men have been more vocal about the way that we experience family court, regarding paternity tests and things like that. All that came and derived from men speaking up in these manosphere spaces and sharing stories and comparing notes. So I think there's a good and bad in every group, you know what I mean, regardless of what group you affiliate with. But you can't dismiss the entire group and say that all of them are just pussies and don't know how to speak up for themselves. That's simply not true. The space exists simply because men are starting to express themselves. And even then, a lot of people are telling these men to be quiet. Hey, how dare you complain about what you got going on in your relationship? How dare you have a back and forth with somebody on a panel? I just literally got shut down for just trying to have a back and forth with somebody and was told, be a man. You don't sound like you married. You don't sound like, come on, man. And I'm just having a back and forth. So are we going to allow men to be vocal or are we not?